Good morning. Welcome to my hangar. Look at this part. Not so good. What about that one? The part where the needle valve goes in is bent. I can't even rotate this thing. These are from a crashed Super Tiger engines, and I've just gotten them when I bought a parts engine. You know, none of these parts are available anymore. So I'm going to take a crack at straightening these out. They're brass, so I'm going to anneal the parts that need to bend, and we'll see what we get. Well, I finally found my torch. So what we have here then is 2x4 drilled holes to let the spray bar parts disappear. Now in the case of this one, we want to straighten it at the spray bar. In the case of this one, we need to, the spray bar is straight and I need to straighten this. So my plan is to heat this area up to red and just try to coax it over. I have a pair of pliers too that I could maybe it'd be better if I did that. So we'll see, and see if the torch lights. So with annealing brass, you want to heat the part that you want to bend up to a cherry red. So I don't want to heat the whole part. I want to just heat this part. Looks like it bent about where this nut is. And I hope it's not too bright so I can see the cherry red part. Start my 2x4 on fire here. Come on. I suppose I could try and bend it now. No, it doesn't really. Oh, you know, it actually. No. The needle valve moves now. So, what do I do? It's straighter. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. We'll let that cool down and see. So this one we're just gonna heat that area right there. I guess there's a rubber part in that O-ring that probably won't, or in a rubber O-ring in the needle valve. That'll probably not be good, but what the heck? I needed a handle. I'll just try it. Oh, that straightened right up. So I don't know if I achieved cherry red or not, but it seems to be enough to have straightened it out. Question is, will it be straight enough to mate with the low-speed needle valve as the carburetor operates. But hopefully it'll be soft enough that we can tweak it. I'll let this cool down and we'll put the parts together, attempt to put the parts together, see what happens. Alright, well, I got this one heated out to be relatively straight, relatively 90 degrees to this surface. And I tried to remove the needle valve, and I have it, apparently, I mean, this body threads onto that body, right? I've got it out this far, there's a gap there. I cannot get it apart, so we'll have to see later what happens with that. With this one that was bent on the outside, it was straight enough to allow me to get the brass nut off. It let me get this out, but it is not quite straight through. So what I'm going to do is heat it again and try to stick this piece of piano wire in and see if I can use it as both a lever and a rod to get me down farther into this tube. So it's pretty close, actually. So do some major warming up. I guess I will hope that the piano wire doesn't get really, really hot fast from transferring heat while I'm using it as a poker. This can't go all the way through because the passage coming from the other side is smaller than this wire. So I don't really know how far this size, this diameter holds up. Well, I got my wood on fire, so we reached 500 degrees at least, haven't we? Fahrenheit, what was that? Anyway, I'll let this cool, see if we're any better off. Well, I got this needle valve to come out, and I think the reason it wouldn't come out is that a section about here, not at the top, but below the top, had brass attached to it. So it was, say, brass plated or brass welded to it. So I think this part was bigger than this part, and it just couldn't come out until heat gave us some more leeway. So I've scraped this down, even though this probably can't be a good needle valve anymore. But that having been said, a rod sticking in goes in that far. But a rod sticking into this one, the other one that was, remember it was bent here, it goes in that far. So there's a bend in the way here. This wire is not stiff enough to use it as a lever, so I'll just bend the wire. So what I'm going to try is heat this up again, put this in, and use a hammer to tap it down. Try to drive it straight with some bending on it. So nothing to venture, nothing gained, they say. Okay, my little ducks lined up. Getting good fire going here. Now can I get it out? Okay, that's down as far as it can go. So I'm going to heat this up some more. Oh, good. We're going to have a good time. Forgot about masking tape burns. What do you know? Okay, so I got my steel out. And checking for fires all around me. Don't seem to be any. Spray this down and let it cool off, and we'll come back and see how they fit. Okay, it's a little while later now, and I poked my finger, so I had to take a break until things settled down. This needle valve, well, so this was the one that was crooked out here. I still haven't gotten that to go very well. It's the bore's not straight enough. This is the one that I took off of where it was good on the outside, and I've scraped off the brass that was embedded in it. And this, between the needle valve and this being bent a little, it was really difficult to get this in. So I took this piece of wire that I'd used to try and straighten this one. I cut it off square with the Dremel wheel. Tried to eliminate any burrs, but I wanted a good sharp edge. So I put this inside and I dragged it out, sort of reaming out the hole. I figured if there had been brass attached to this, then there must be a roughness inside this bore. So I've just spent some time dragging this out, trying to drag one edge and scrape whatever there might be. And at this point, this needle valve now screws on in the normal fashion with the normal amount of force. So I think that part of this will work. So here's what I'd straightened this out. Now, is it straight enough for the carburetor? Here's the bore of the carburetor that this has to fit in, and there's really lots of leeway there, so this is not a close fit. And even though I think that this does not fit exactly like it should, it's pretty close. And I think if it were reassembled, it'll probably work, because we're just trying to make it serviceable, right? Since these parts are unavailable. So what can I do with this one? Well, this needle valve is, I don't know if you can see, but it got squished here. So I'll have to figure out something to go over this that will try to flare this back into a round condition, because I don't think it'll fit over that. And then again, so should I try straightening this out more, or should I just do the same reaming thing? I have not tried it. I'll just do this draggy thing, because it turned out that that needle valve also had some embedded brass on it, and I actually have not tried scraping that brass off. I don't know if you can see, there's like 3 shiny rings here, and that's brass that's sticking to this needle valve. So I'm just gonna, kind of a steel on steel. I'm sure the needle valve is steel, or an iron ferrous thing anyway. I scraped that other one till it was shiny, and that's what I'm doing with this. Now, does it fit any better? Well, to there it does, but then I guess we're not straight enough. I can still see that there's a bow. It's bowing this way. The brass nut that was on here now goes on and off, so it's sort of relatively straight. And if my little scraping reaming thing doesn't get it for us, then maybe I need to actually just take a next size drill bit and drill it out. So I would say my little exercise has proven that it is possible to reshape these brass parts that get bent, and it is possible probably to put some of them back in service.